Okay, here we are at Sydney, Nova Scotia. We are the plane loaded up, everything's all set, life preservers, our raft, everything. We're ready for our overwater portion, and winds are 20, gusting 28, but not too far off the nose for takeoff and also for our intended landing. So we're ready for our overwater portion of our flight from Nova Scotia to France. You guys ready?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, let's get started.
Charlottetown Radio, Bonanza 898 Juliet Bravo.
November 898 Juliet Bravo, Charlottetown.
898 Juliet Bravo is at the terminal, ready for taxi to 36 at Sydney. City traffic, Bonanza 898 Juliet Bravo is rolling 36, right turn. Everybody ready? Charlottetown Radio, 898 Juliet Bravo, we're departing the Sydney area. I'd like to switch over to function if we could, sir. 898 Juliet Bravo is at Beach 36, climbing through 2,000 feet through for 5,500 feet. We have a VFR flight plan on file to Lima, Foxtrot, Victor, Papa. I'd like to get VFR flight following if we could from you. November 898 Juliet Bravo.
We are officially on French soil. We are in France, you see, right behind us. And now we are going to go back through the terminal. They're letting us out through the tower here. But Saint-Pierre, France.
Yeah.
Let's go get some French food.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Literally, hold on. He needs us to come up to the tower because he's working a flight. He has to get them out before he can let us out of the tower. How awesome is this? Visit to a French control tower. So here we are on French soil in an actual part of France. It is Île Saint-Pierre and Miquelon, which is the second island. So we have two islands here. The smaller one is Saint-Pierre and the larger one is Miquelon, and they are actually part of France. It was only 5 hours of flight time from just outside Boston at Minuteman Airport, our home. We were able to go through Sydney and then an overwater leg of 1 hour across here, and what an amazing place. Now, Saint-Pierre has some fantastic history. It has been fought over throughout history between the French and the other Europeans, and also the UK, most of it between the French and the British, because it is such a remarkable port with amazing fishing and a deep water port. And then some other interesting things about this is it also played a key role during World War II in a bunch of ways. One of the ways was that when France fell to Germany, to the Nazis in World War II, this island, as part of France, fell as well. And it was actually used by the Germans for communication and other coordination with the U-boats that patrolled across the American coast. So that was a big issue, and taking it back from the Germans was one of the most important things that happened very, very early on in the invasion as the Allies made their push back against the Axis powers. So they retook the island at that point. Really, really fascinating history. The entire area where Sydney, where we were, that had merchant marine vessels that were being organized and going and taking shipping across to the Allies and to Great Britain to keep them going during World War II. And yet here in Saint-Pierre, the organization of so many of those U-boats to try to take down those convoys. Very interesting. Then in the 1920s, or just before that, during the Prohibition era, this entire area became a hub of smuggling for all of the contraband alcohol that was going from Canada and then down into America. So really, really crazy history. And one of the most fantastic things about spending time here is it is France. You feel like you are in France, right?
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic French food. Everyone speaks French. Very few people speak English. What are your thoughts?
It was very cool, very different than the United States, so it's cool to see something different and new. Yeah, it really is France. It's amazing to see that.
Yeah, just this really fantastic place. We got to go up in the control tower, all these other things. It is just really, really amazing. We made friends while we were here. We made friends with Paul, the controller, in the tower that showed us all around what's involved, and we're going to be back, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So for Team SocialFlight, let's begin our journey home, back first to Sydney, Nova Scotia, and then back to Eastport, Maine for arrival back in the United States.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
November 898 Juliet Bravo, holding short of 26, ready for takeoff.
Juliet Bravo, so taxi via Echo to backtrack line, line up runway 26.
Roger, clear for back taxi on 26, line up and wait, Juliet Bravo. Bonanza 898 Juliet Bravo, ready for takeoff, holding short, holding line up and wait 26.
98 Juliet Bravo, the wind is 27 degrees 12 knots, clear for takeoff 26, call me back passing 5,000.
Call back at 5,000, clear for takeoff, 898 Juliet Bravo. All set. Everybody ready? Yep. So a fairly fairly large portion of this journey has been over water. We had over an hour en route from Sydney to Ile-Saint-Pierre, and a little more than that with a headwind coming back. In a single-engine aircraft, that can be concerning. We do have a raft and life jackets on board and other survival equipment, but obviously with one engine, it's definitely a little bit of a concern. One of the things that gives me confidence in taking that journey, though, and having those over-water lights is the fact that we have these new cylinders, these NIC3 cylinders from Continental Aerospace Technologies, and they were put on by Continental's Services Division, which was really great because they had a chance to, during the removal, inspect the lower end of the engine, and we know that these cylinders were installed by the experts properly. So that does make a big difference. We've got about 30-40 hours on them at this point. Everything's been great. Oil's stabilized. They broke in really, really well, and I feel confident enough to use them for these long overwater lengths in a single-engine Bonanza. So on a journey like this, you have to think ahead when it comes to data and flight planning, not just for your planning, but for the avionics in the aircraft. And we have our Aspen Evolution Pro, which is our electronic flight instrument. That had to be updated with the right data. And we also then have our Avionics equipment. And thanks to Jeppesen, we were able to get charting that covered the entire region that we're flying to. So we have data that not only covers US and then Canada, but also had the approaches and all the airport information for Ile-Saint-Pierre in France. In addition to that, we were able to use the Lynx ADS-B and multi-hazard transponder that was able to give us ADS-B information and traffic information through most of our flight. And then, of course, when we left the US, we lost the weather information, but the active traffic on board helped us the entire way. Gave us traffic alerts. We could see things even before they were called out to us. So making sure that you manage your avionics on a trip like this is very important, and as important as making sure that you have your flight planning and your customs and everything like that taken care of.
All right, here we are back on the ground at Minuteman after a full day of flying all the way back from Ile-Saint-Pierre, France. Thank you so much to SocialFlight's partners. A shout out to Continental Aerospace Technologies for that amazing engine that we fly behind, including those new nickel cylinders, the NIC3 cylinders that we had so much confidence in over the water. To Aspen Avionics, we love flying behind that display, as well as Avidyne and L3, which gave us all the navigation that helped us get all the way there and all the way back safely. Again, to everyone, thanks so much. Be sure to check out SocialFlight.com for tens of thousands of aviation events and destinations like this adventure and the other adventures we'll be bringing to you soon. Be sure to check it out, SocialFlight.com, and the free SocialFlight mobile apps for both Apple and Android devices. Until then, I'm Jeff, this is Jake, this is Ben. Blue skies.